Hey guys, good evening. So we're going to do a nice quick 23-minute movement set. We'll do a little bit of some mobility and some melt, and we'll get ourselves going here. So if you have melt equipment, we've got a ball and we've got a roller as well. And so we'll start with that. We'll start with a real quick rest assess. And if you don't have melt equipment, that's okay. You can use a regular roller and or you can use a rolled up towel as well. So melt, remember, is a restoration tool. It's not a rolling technique, and it gives you the opportunity to restore your movement, rebalance your movement, rehydrate your movement, and just release any stuck stress that the body wants to hold on to. So let's go, let's join in. So let's just start with a real quick hand treatment. I'm gonna show you real quick how you're gonna do this kind of without the ball. So you're gonna use this movement as a glide movement, and then you're gonna press into the hands here as you push the two pads of the hand together, and you're gonna use that as a shearing up and down or side to side. And then you're just gonna use this as a friction movement, okay? So we're gonna start with the ball. So we're gonna start with the ball by just giving a little sensory understanding of where our movement is. And we're gonna notice any tension in our hand or our forearm or any of that. And the nice thing about the ball is it's pretty squishy without being foam. And I'm just noticing the difference in the movement between my right and my left hands. How much did my hand squeeze the ball? Or maybe there's some missing. Maybe I can only get 3 fingers, my thumb doesn't want to curl in, or my pinky doesn't make it in. I'm just kind of noticing what's going on. Okay? So now we're going to take the ball in the hand. We're going to place it between the pads of the hand, interlace the fingers, and you're just going to move that ball back and forth. And what we're doing is a gliding technique. This is a two-directional movement. We're just going back and forth, and we're moving against the skin. We're just allowing that tissue to open up, and as we move the ball back and forth, releasing tension. I'm trying not to stiffen or tighten, and some nice long deep slow breaths. We're going to do about 4 more passes here. Now again, you can do the same thing without the ball, and you just move your hands back and forth on each other. You just want to create less stress in your fingers and just move your hands back and forth. Let's do 1 more with the ball. And then go ahead and pause. Squeeze the ball right between the first 2 pads of your fingers underneath your thumb. Press, and we're going to go up and down. So this shear force is a cross friction. And that cross friction is going to help open up the tissue and back and forth. Kind of like a massage. When you have a massage, they move across the tissue, not just straight up and down the tissue. A couple more. Let's make sure that ball doesn't pop out. And then pause. Good. Hold the ball there. Take a deep breath. And then let's just go back and forth. This is called friction. Friction is a multi-direction. We can go side to side, up and down, around in circles like we're making little Play-Doh balls. Whoop. We can throw the ball down, down onto the ground. All right. Good. And then pause. And then let's take the ball in the hand again. Give it a nice little squeeze. See if your grip feels a little bit stronger. And just kind of notice what's going on. Good. We're going to do a real quick head treatment. So go ahead, if you have glasses, take your glasses off. Place the ball behind the ear. So get your jawline. And then you've got this bony protrusion right behind the ear. We're going to take the ball there, and you're just going to twist the ball right behind your ear. And you can rest your head into your hands. And you're going to pause, and we're going to go up and down with the ball. Now we're moving the skin, not really the ball. And then pause. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to move up just above the jawline. And again, we're going to twist the ball. Now, we've got all kinds of cranial nerves on our face. We're working to help to open up all the cranial nerves as they come out into the lymph ducts. Pause, up and down, and then to open up the face so that we can release any tension or pressure. Go ahead and pause, and then let's bring the ball right towards the center of the forehead, and then we're going to sweep right above the eyebrow, and we're going to go back and forth again, so a little circle, half circles, little twists, and then pause, and then side to side or up and down. You can choose. Now this should definitely be gentle. Go ahead and pause, and then let's do the other side. So again, behind the ear, let's just twist. We're starting at kind of a drainage point so that everything wants to drain down towards our thoracic duct. Pause, which is inside and below the collarbone. And then we're going to go up. We're going to go twist. And this really feels nice right across that jawline. Pause and up and down. And then pause. And then let's go right above the eyebrow. We'll twist. And then pause, up and down. And pause. And let's just take the ball and put it back down on the ground. And we're going to do a nice little rinse down the neck, across the forehead, down kind of the T-zone of the body. Again, across the face, down by the jaw, and then down towards the left collarbone. All right. Well, now we've done kind of our upper body. Let's move into our lower body. Let's get back on the mat. So we're going to lay on the mat. And we're going to start out with just some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And giving ourselves the opportunity to just check in with the body with our breathing. I want you to close your mouth, put your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and we're just going to breathe through our nose, about 10 deep breaths. I'll breathe the first several and then we'll walk through this, but you're going to keep your mouth closed with your tongue against the roof of your mouth. You might even feel your shoulders dropping in, like I just moved, opening up my back. My back was feeling more settled into the ground. About 3 more breaths. And then let's begin to look up with your eyes, bring your chin to your sternum, look back, bring your chin up, look back, and we're going to move eyes first, let the head follow after that, and then let's move right and left. Head back, look to your right, and then look to your left. Just letting my arms relax, no extra movement in my arms. And then I'm just going to start with a quarter roll. So I'm going to take my arms over my head and take my right hand to my right side, pick my head up, and my left hand to my left side. Just pretty much just allowing my arms just to move really very easily and naturally across my body. If I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time picking up my body, picking up that head is really going to make a difference. Look in the direction that your hand travels. And breathe through that nose as best you can. One more time here, and then we're going to do the legs. So we're going to bring your right knee up and then take the right leg across the midline and roll back. And then bring the left knee up and roll across the midline. What I like here is just keeping those shoulders back. You may feel some nice movement in the rib wall. And you're giving your body the opportunity to just roll into this movement. Trying not to overdo. You want to go where the body feels comfortable. Body tends to like to kind of drift down the mat. We'll do one more to each side. And last one here. Throughout each one of the movements today, I want you to work on breathing as comfortably and easily through your mouth. Comfortably and easily through your nose, keeping that tongue against the roof of your mouth. This is going to help you more focus in on diaphragmatic breathing and opening the rib cage up. Let's grab a roller. If you have a block, A block will work as well. The block just doesn't give you any kind of roll movement into the lower back, and so it can be a little less comfortable. Let's begin with that roller right at the base of the hips. So if you're sitting on the roller, put the roller perpendicular across the body. Go your iliac crest here. Slide the heel of your hand underneath your back. Make sure that the roller is towards the hip side of your hips, so it's not on the small of your back at all. And then let's just bring the right knee and left knee up. Let the feet drop towards the ground and begin to make the circles around. Nice, easy, so slow circles. We're doing little SI joint shear. Remember, your SI joints are right there in your lower back, and they are trying to balance out the right and left side of your pelvis, where the attachment points of the sacrum is. 2 more. And last one right here. We're going to stop in the middle, pause for a second. You can do any readjustments. And then let's just gently march those knees. Now again, you may notice a slight shifting in the pelvis when you do this, but there shouldn't be any arching or tucking. The pelvis should stay level. You just may feel the pull from right to left sides. Good, go ahead and pause with those knees in the center. Let's take your hands to the tops of the knees, palms facing the knees. Make sure the elbows are straight, and you're gonna push the knees into the hands and the hands into the knees. And we're gonna exhale, making this sound kind of like an SH sound for about 5 counts. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and release. Again, knees into hands, hands into knees. Inhale, exhale, 2 more times. Inhale, push those hands into your knees, and vice versa. Exhale, 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Let's bring your hands down back by your side. I want you to tip both knees to your right, and we're going to do that circle on your right. So we're really more on the right side of that SI. The left hip is almost off the roller. I've got both my hands on the roller just to make sure the roller doesn't slip or move. Good. Nice and easy circles here. We'll pause just like we did when we did the big circles. And let's go for that march again. Again, this is a nice cross friction pattern, allowing yourself to kind of push in against the upper inner hip. And then pause. Bring those knees back to center. Let's go over to the left. Good. Pause. And then again, make some small circles right on the upper part of that hip, just before you get to the outer part of the hip. Little visitor there. And then pause, and let's do the marching. Now you may feel some tenderness inside that hip joint. If you're on blocks, you might want to have 2 blocks on. If you're on a typical roller, which is about a 6-inch in diameter roller, you're pretty high off the ground, and those rollers are usually pretty sturdy. Pause. Let's bring those knees back to center. Drop your left foot, ankle of your right foot crosses over, and we create a figure 4 position here. Want to make sure in this position, kind of a key position, is the pelvis stays level. I don't want my pelvis tucked here. I'm going to gently just push out into the inner part of my right thigh. Big deep breath. And then I'm going to use my left knee and bring my left and right foot in. And keep my right foot flexed as I push out with my right hand. Make sure that tailbone is level on the roller. And then release. Nice, simple figure 4 stretch. Getting some opening into that hip joint. Let's cross the left leg over. And then just press out into that outer hip. You can feel deep into this inguinal joint, this opening here. Bring the knee up, hold the ankle, flex the foot. Inhale big, exhale, push up and away. Not just away, but think of pulling up onto that thigh and then away. And then relax. Go ahead and take your right foot and then left foot down. Let's bring both knees back up into the chest again. Breathing, and then let's just circle one more time. SI joint shear. You may notice the movement feeling a little bit more easy. Maybe less tenderness. Maybe a new sensation. Go ahead and pause. And then again, let's march. And then pause, and let's step over to our right. And again, let's circle. Now, whether you're going counterclockwise or clockwise doesn't particularly matter. If you remember it, you can go the opposite direction. That's great. Noticing in those hips a little bit more freedom of movement now that we've kind of opened up inside that hip joint. Remember, our joints are super important to make sure that we get good restoration of movement, hydration inside those joints. Pause. Bring those knees back to center. Let's take the knees over to the other side. And again, circles. And breathing is key here as well. You don't want to just hold your breath or wait till the end. And then pause. Go ahead and move those legs. And then one more time, pause. Bring both legs back to center. Lower your left foot down. Extend your right foot where it is. And so you're kind of in a jackknife position. And let's push that right heel to the sky. As you push the right heel to the sky, think of sinking your hip almost to create some more length and resistance between that right heel and that right hip. Some elongation here. And let's point and flex the foot. This is a nice, more Pilates movement to kind of create length in the leg. Remember, in Pilates, everything starts at the center and goes out. So identifying that center line, the transverse abdominis, and then release. Let's push that heel up, lower the leg down so the knees are just about in line, and then reach that leg away from the midline of your body, get longer. And then now let's tick-tock. Now you can go below just a little bit, but you don't want to go too far below the knee. And if that's too much, you can go a little bit higher. But we're going to go right about in line with that knee, moving that hip, pushing that heel out, reaching, almost like you're trying to unscrew something way out in front of you. And then pause, and then let's bring that right knee back into the chest. Let's give that knee a little bit of a hug, and then let's lower the foot down. So the same thing on your left side. Bring the left knee in. We're almost done on the roller. Reach through that left heel, pull down on that left hip, thinking of drawing the hips into the roller. Push and press. Think of drawing the heel to the hamstring, not just pushing the toe to the sky. So we're shortening and lengthening, keeping that hip pulling down, finding that nice passive length. And then pause. Lower that left leg down now, pretty much in line with the knee. And then again, now you're going to stir. So a little tick-tock, like your toe is to 9 and 1 or 9 and 2. Breathing. Reach that leg out there without arching the back. Good. And then pause. Bring your knee in. Let's give it a little hug. And then put your foot down. Let's take the roller out from underneath you all the way and completely, continually back on your mat. You may even feel kind of like a downward slope into your hips. Extend the legs all the way out. Very often we have a nice level pelvis. Hamstrings feel a lot lower. and maybe your rib cage might even feel like it's nice and level on the ground. Good. From here, let's bring your right leg and left leg back in, and let's go right back into an all fours position from here, and we're just going to do a dead bug. Now the dead bug is a front line movement, which means your back is stabilized on the ground while your front is doing the work. So you're really working on stability for the front of the body. And you're getting a little bit in the back as the arm goes overhead. It's a great core move. And then we're going to add some tension onto here. So you're going to take your left hand and place it and push into your right knee. And just take your right arm and left leg away from the midline. Really push, push. It's about 4 more. And 3. And 2. Last one. Let's pause for a second. Take the right hand, push into the left knee. Make sure the right elbow is straight. And then reach in 2 directions. As you push, push. Knee into hand, hand into knee. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And last one. Good. Go ahead and pause. Let's bring the head up. Let's bring the legs up as we can. And then let's do a straight leg, dead bug. Now you don't have to point your toes. Feet aren't really pointed, they're just kind of naturally resting. Do 3 more. 2 here. Last one each side. And then bring those knees in, and we'll rock ourselves up. Great. Let's come into all fours. Go into a little flexion and extension to the back. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, round. One more time, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Let's reach those toes back, reach those arms out in front, get long. And just breathe. Slide your hands back in, around the back. Lift the tailbone, lift the chest. And let's just go into a plank to pike. You're getting to move your wrists a little bit more, the hips a little bit more. Now, if this is too much for your shoulder, you can of course go right back into a cat-cow position or do a knees rocking position. Knees rocking, of course, is just back and forth here. Head stay as level as you can to the ground. Or you can go back into your plank to pike. Let's do 4 more. And last one. Hold that weight back. So even if you're in a child's pose position because you're doing knees rocking, that's totally fine. Bend your knees back to the ground. And then let's go to a side plank position. From the side plank, we're going to keep our hip on the ground. And then we're going to lift those hips up. And we're going to do a side plank with a knee lift. We'll do 10 on each side. 4 here, 3, 2, and last one. Drop down. Let's switch to the other side. So side plank with a knee lift or a clam is a great way to get core work done and some glute work at the same time. Watch that shoulder. Now you can stay here with your knee on the ground. So you're using less load into the shoulder. You could even come up higher with your hand further out, if that's better. You don't want your hand so much underneath you because you want this nice long open shoulder here. So if you're having any trouble with your shoulder, I would just say move that hand out a little bit further out in front of you. Then if you're fine, you can come up. Let's do 10 with our hips up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, everybody's excited, 4, 3, 2, last one. All right, let's do back to the first side again. And again, your options or variation is you can stay on the hand, but just make sure the hand's out from underneath you. Open the chest, keep the hands down, and you can still lift that top knee. Watch that you don't sink back into the movement. Then if you want to come to the elbow, but still not lift the hips up, that's totally fine as well. Or we can continue on with the hips back up again. So let's do 10 with the hips up, or any of the other variation, and then shoulders back. Let's go 10 here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Drop your hips in. Swing back one more time to the second side. Choose your variation that works better for you. Whatever modifications you need. Lift those hips up, and let's repeat for 10 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 more, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Drop those hips in, and then we're gonna go all the way back to all fours, and let's get into a bird dog. So reach out nice and long, and then back in, and then the other leg and arm. Then we're in a bird dog. The nice position on a bird dog is your hands reaching out and shaking. It's not giving a 5. It's not giving a high 5 either. Reach out. Now this is a back line position, and people tend to be weaker on their back line, partly because people tend to work out the muscles that they see the most: chest, front of the core, quadriceps, and kind of forget more that those glutes, hamstrings, shoulders, back need a lot of attention as well. Now, of course, the glutes are a big prime time movement, but a lot of times we use the glutes, but yet don't use the upper back movements, shoulders, and so on. One more time, each side. Good. Nice job. So let's sink back into our heels, stretch the toes a little bit, lift the hips up. Let's come back to that downward facing dog. And then we're gonna bring that right knee up towards the right elbow. And just like the figure 4 stretch, we've got the knee kind of bent across the midline of the body. The other leg is straight out behind us. And we're just gonna hold this position, getting a stretch a bit in the inner thigh of the bent front leg, as well as the outer hip. And just a couple of nice long deep breaths. And we're breathing as much as you can, teaching yourself to return to your most natural form of breath, which is breathing through your nose. And just notice how big your breath can be. All right, curl that back toe just to bring yourself up. Let's switch. Bring the left knee up towards the left elbow. Head and chest forward. Walk your hands forward, and let's come into that figure 4 for the left side. And if you can see and notice what's also happening, as you breathe deep into the rib wall, you're moving your organs. You're pulling on your organs. You're pressing, you're lengthening. Even notice I have to hold my head here. I mean, I can hang it down, but it's helping my upper back and my extension to hold my head upright. Creating shoulder stability, as well as some mobility in the hips. Go ahead, a nice long deep breath, curl that back toe. Bring yourself up, lift your hips up just enough. Let's go right back into one more downward facing dog, and we'll walk the feet up to the hands, and then squat, and then let's sit back to the mat. Good, very nice. Sitting nice and tall, chest is lifted, body is nice and tall. Take your hands behind you, just so you can feel the heel of the hands pressing down, and let's lift that chest up, and then let's drop the knees side to side. Kind of like a windshield wiper motion. I'm keeping my back not arched, but just extended. Two more each side. Partly this is what keeps me from kind of sliding forward. Last time, each side. All right, let's take that right foot in and your left foot back, and then switch, and then back. Getting some nice mobility in those hips, and we're taking up some load in the shoulder and working around the midline of the body. So it's a nice way to get into an easy, almost 90-90 position here, and get a little bit of rolling too on the same side on those glutes. Just like you would do on kind of old style firm roller. We're getting the whole floor to be our roller today. Two more each side. Last time, each side. All right, let's just stay here, almost in this 90-90, and we're just gonna pick up this back knee. Lift up and back down. Up and back down. Notice your body wants to maybe slump in there. See if you can maintain some height. You can hold the ankle, the knee. Open up, one more time. Open up and back down. Let's take that back knee front. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. You can have your hand on your knee or your ankle. Open up and back down. Shift so my foot stays on the mat. Four more. 4 and 3, 2. Last one right here. Lift up and then back down. Good. Let's bring those feet together. Little butterfly. Take your hands to your ankles. Lift your chest. And then just bring your body forward. I'm putting the pressure of my forearms to the front of my shins. Take a big deep breath. Feel the body just expand. Good. Bring those knees into your chest and then hug both knees. I'm using my elbow in my hand to hold my knees together so I'm not twisting my pelvis. And use your breath to rotate you around. Turn back around, let's come front. Take your left hand back, rotate. And if you do the right side first or the left, it doesn't particularly matter. Nice and tall. And we're gonna finish with a nice mermaid. Take your legs to one side. So sitting up tall, I guess a mermaid, maybe this is the tail of the mermaid. And you're gonna slide, if your legs are to the right, you're gonna slide your left hand out and then drop your right elbow and just fold over. Kind of another variation of a glute stretch, but it's also gonna get around the midline of the body. You can come all the way to the hands. Bring yourself about a third of the way up on those forearms. Roll the body a little bit more towards the floor so the shoulders line up with the elbows a little bit more. For that rotation from your right inside to your left side. And then press yourself to your hands. Look over your left shoulder. Look back over your right. And let's switch to the other side. So nice, simple, all throughout the body motion, giving ourselves some just nice mobility, as well as some hydration and some movement to the rest of the body. All right, slide that right hand out, Roll yourself in. As it's comfortable, bring yourself down to your forearms. Already feel that movement from my liver all the way down into my deep descending colon there. It's getting the whole body to move a little bit. You want to come down to your hands. Two more breaths. And then let's come back up just to our hands. Look over your right shoulder. Look over your left. And we are done and done. I hope you had a great time doing this. Hope you found some movements a little bit easy, or maybe some new movements or old movements a little bit more challenging. Give yourself the opportunity to not just do for the sake of doing, but learn to listen to what your body's looking for and enjoy the movement and find some refreshing, connecting restoration in your movement. Have a great day.